Emee is the correct pronunciation of your name.
Oh, yes.
Did I get
We're recording.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's okay, Cherie. No worries. We're all quite easygoing in our group. But anyway, hello everyone. I hope you're doing really well today. You caught us having a little bit of a conversation with our guest today. But Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you had a fantastic holiday with your family and your friends, and that you're ready to face 2020, with lots of hope, with lots of energy. And in our community, it's all about purpose, action, momentum, and energy. And I know that at the start of the year, many of you might be thinking like what we did last year, thinking about adopting healthy habits and maybe changing your diet or maybe adopting a new exercise regime. I mean, last year, my healthy habit challenge for me was to drink 8 glasses of water a day, and I'm still doing that right now. So still 8 glasses or more actually of water a day. So let's start this year off by thinking about healthy habits and how we can be in the right mindset and adopt behaviors that will help us to stay on track and keep it going throughout our life. So here with us today is a health and wellness coach, Cherie. You are from Australia, Cherie, aren't you?
I am indeed, yes.
Yes, and she's going to talk about how we can do this. There's a lot of mindset involved in this. There's a lot of behavior change involved in this. And she has a background in psychology too. So I think we're going to talk about healthy habits, on the same page. So welcome, Cherie, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So
Wonderful to be here.
tell us about you, what's your background and what exactly do you do and what do you do to help people?
So I'm a women's health and wellness coach over here in Australia, and I basically help women to reinvigorate their bodies and reinvent their menus and, of course, reset their entire mindset and the way that they approach health and wellness in their lives. So women will typically come to me, with the goal of losing a little bit of weight, but through that process and establishing good health as a really solid foundation, we then use that as, the motivation to actually launch into even bigger and better things in their life as well.
Awesome. And now because it's the new year, people are thinking about changing old habits, getting healthier. What is the first thing that they have to do? Like when someone comes to you and said, I want to get healthier. Where do you start? How do you get started and be on the right foundation?
One of the first things and probably one of the biggest and most common mistakes that I see most people making is that they go for this all or nothing approach and they want to change everything overnight. And so one of the first things that I typically have to do with a lot of the people that come to me is I really have to hold them back, because they come to me and they're expecting, that they're going to be, doing really intensive workouts. They set these goals, really unrealistic goals of exercising every single day, and they eliminate all of the perceived bad foods from their diet overnight.
Everything
And
in one go.
everything in one go. And as you know, when you are going through a change process, by going down that all or nothing pathway, you're relying on willpower. You are juggling 100 balls all at once. You're trying to maintain focus on so many different things, and willpower is a finite resource. It becomes draining when you are juggling so many balls at one time. So inevitably, 3 weeks into, your lifestyle transformation, you just can't maintain all of that all at once. So the first thing that I typically have to do is really try to explain to people why it's so important just to select one or two little goals, and make them small goals, make them achievable, realistic. And I mean, we've no doubt everybody is aware of SMART goals or smarter goals, whichever way you'd like to to put that, but ultimately it's about having those specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-based goals that you can then evaluate, and really one or two, get those under control first. When those one or two little goals are basically embedded into your daily habit, into your daily rituals, into your weekly routine, that's when it's time to start looking further afield and starting to incorporate. But that is typically what I
You start
really
off
need
by
to work
helping
on.
them to focus. Yeah, it's all about habit stacking, isn't it? So you just start off with one simple habit that you want to
Yes,
develop or that you
yes,
want to change. Keep it realistic and keep it easy, keep it simple,
yes,
try it out and you'll realize that, oh, okay, this is easy. And it just becomes natural. It becomes part of your
yes,
habit. You don't really have to think about it. You don't have to exert
absolutely.
willpower. When I was
Yes,
practicing as a health psychologist, one of the first things that I did in my career was to help people stop smoking. And we always say, don't rely on willpower. There's a lot of behavior modification that
yes,
and mindset stuff that we do, but willpower alone is not enough. So keep it simple, keep it easy, and then you stack the habit, one by one, and go through the
yes,
motions in that way. So
yes, yes, definitely.
so you reel them back in one habit or two, if you like, at a time, and then you start
Absolutely.
from there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So you help them to narrow it down, and then what?
The other thing that I find, and I think this comes from, you know, the women that would typically come to me are women who have, they've done the roller coaster sort of weight loss, weight gain sort of
Yo-yo.
situation. And yeah, they've done all of that in the past. And I think they've been, programmed through years and years of dieting and dieting failures and that sort of thing. They seem to think that they have to deprive themselves and deny themselves of all of the things that they really enjoy. So that for me is something that's really quite important, is to try to equip them with the knowledge and the awareness and the ability to balance their nutrition in such a way that they can still enjoy the things that they enjoy. Because I think if you approach any lifestyle transformation with more of an abundance mindset as
Mm,
opposed to a scarcity mindset, and actually really see this as being a really wonderful opportunity to bring, beautiful, real, natural, bright, living food
mm.
into your diet, or to, really amplify your energy through fun and enjoyable movement. Actually see it as being a joy, and think of it in terms of bringing in the abundance as opposed to really depriving yourself and denying yourself of all of those things that you really enjoy. So switching that
It's a
around is
mindset
also
shift, isn't it? And it's almost like
definitely,
changing your relationship with food or physical activity,
definitely,
that it's not
yes,
really a chore. You're actually
no,
just taking care of yourself and letting your body get what it actually really
yes,
needs.
yes,
So
that's it,
instead of having, taking on food that's actually quite harmful to you, you replace it with food that nourishes you, and
that's
and
right.
it's still, that is good for you. So I like that. So it's, how do you do that? How do you shift that mindset? Is it just, does it happen gradually, or does it usually happen in just like the next day they just adopt it?
Look, it really comes down to individual differences. I think, you can explain something in a certain way, and you can see the light bulb come on for some people. When you talk about, living food being created by nature for living beings, living food supporting and really, um, you know, helping our lives, that really resonates with some people, and they'll get it straight away. And you'll talk about, um, making quality choices. If you love and respect yourself, you want nothing but the best. And so, certain foods are going to be a higher quality, choice for yourself. And, when people get a little bit confused, but what should I eat? I think people generally know the foods that are going to support our health. If going for the real living foods as opposed to processed man-made foods that come with, so many chemicals and additives and all of those sorts of things. So when you sort of put it back on them to start asking themselves the question, what food, if they're faced with the dilemma, what should I eat? Ask yourself, what food is going to support my health goals? It doesn't necessarily mean that one food is good and one food is bad, but what is going to support your body? What is going to really fuel your energy? And, what is going to make you feel good about nourishing your body?
Yeah, so that's actually really helpful. And for us in the PAMI Code Facebook group, we talk a lot about the PAMI Code, which is purpose, action, momentum, and energy. And when it comes to adopting healthy habits, as with anything that you want to start in your life, you always have to ground yourself in your purpose as well. And I know you have a story about this. Like you've been through the process yourself of changing your lifestyle and adopting the healthy lifestyle that you have now. So tell us a little bit about that and why purpose is so important for you.
I mean, were it not for finally discovering my purpose, I would still be, that really unhappy, really quite miserable woman weighing 115 kilos. I mean, my entire life prior to having my little boy was, it was the roller coaster yo-yo dieting, extreme weight loss, extreme exercise, and then flipping over to, the overeating and, sedentary lifestyle, those sorts of things. I didn't appreciate the value of good health. And, I was basically doing everything to undermine good health. And then, of course, my little boy came along. And as a single mother, I actually realized that my life is valuable because I now have another life to be responsible for. And, I really wanted to be an actively engaged parent. I wanted to be able to run around and, play and all of those sorts of things with my little boy. And that for me, or he, became my reason why. And, that obviously sparked me to embark on my healthy habits journey. I managed to get my nutrition under control, got myself down to the gym, got myself into a good routine. And because I'd made all those mistakes in the past, I was actually able to really have a good hard look at the patterns I'd fallen to in the past. And I thought, okay, this time for me, failure is not an option because I have that clear purpose in mind. And so, turning everything upside down and doing things very differently to what I'd done in the past. But I was only able to do that because I had that sense of purpose.
Yeah. So purpose is really important. And I know that I do have friends. Shout out to Yai Bahamundi. I mean, yeah, you've done fantastic. She lost a lot of weight over the past 2 years now, and she maintained it. And she has this strong sense of purpose as well, to get better, to get healthier. And she kept it going, and such an amazing inspiration. And the same with you, Cherie. Did you say you were over 100? What did you say, 150 kilos or something like
100,
that?
115. So I had spent them at probably, all of my early adult life over 100, and the most I ever got to was 115.
Wow.
So
And
yes, I was big
and
girl.
you've lost that weight,
Yes.
and you've managed to to keep a healthy weight,
Yes,
it's not about losing all the weight and going skin and bones. It's having that optimal healthy weight, and keeping it to that level.
that's right. And I mean, it's, as you say, it's not just about the weight. I mean, you know, my fitness levels, I'm almost 47, so I didn't even start this journey until I was 40. So, you know, to be now at almost 47, to be the fittest I've ever been in my life, you know, the strongest I've ever been in my life, and feeling more energetic than what I ever have previously, you know. So it's not just, from my perspective, the weight loss has just been one of the really awesome byproducts of focusing on improving my own health,
Mm,
you know. So
right.
when in the past, focusing on weight loss, I found, you know, once you achieve the weight loss, you don't have a motivator anymore because you've achieved the goal.
Mm,
Whereas by focusing on improving your health and
it's more
focusing on,
long term.
yeah, it is. And the weight loss just kind of
It's a
happens in
byproduct.
the background
Yeah.
without you focusing on it, because you're focusing on the 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 things that um, create good health for you, you know, like the consistent exercise or the healthy menus. You're focusing on those things, and the weight loss just takes care of
Just
itself.
it's yeah. So actually, that's one of the things that we talk about in the PAMI code, because you ground in on your purpose first, and the action follows next. When you clarify the purpose, and in your case, it's not really just about the weight loss. The purpose is to become healthier because you have another person. You have your son to take care of. You need to be healthy, not just for the next 2 or 3 months, but throughout your life. And
That's
even
right.
teaching him how to have a healthy lifestyle, to be a good role model. These are all grounding factors, a real core purpose that will just keep you going, and all the actions will follow next.
Yes,
And
yes,
action, momentum, you just keep going. Once it's part of your routine, you just keep it consistent,
yeah,
and the energy also follows because you feel great. you know
yes,
you you feel grateful for the mindset shift, for the food that you eat, instead of bashing your food, like, oh,
yes,
I gave up chocolate, I give. No, you thank for the whole food, and the good food that you are receiving now, that nourishes your body and your soul. So
yes.
purpose is really important. It grounds you, but everything else follows next. So for some people who just skip it and just say, okay, I'll go to the gym, just take action then and there without really clarifying their purpose, I think they're missing the key important
Yes,
ingredient there. Start with your purpose. Spend a bit of time really reflecting on why you are doing this, for what reason you are doing this, and the action will follow next.
that's it. That's it. And another reason why that's also really quite important, and being very clear in your purpose. In the past, I had found that when you lose weight, when you're a big girl and you go through a weight loss sort of, you know, exercise, um, you tend to receive a lot of positive feedback. So your motivation tends to be, you know, it's all external to in here.
Mm,
And once you've lost the weight and your weight is sort of stable for a little while, all of that positive feedback obviously drops off.
mm.
And when you're not constantly getting that positive reinforcement from all of those external sources, you're kind of left there wondering, oh, well, what next, kind of thing. So by being very, very clear on your purpose to begin with, you're actually relying on what is in here. You are motivated by what is in here. And any of that external reinforcement and feedback that you get, like,
It's just extra.
it's kind of irrelevant, really,
Mm,
because you're not doing it for all of that positive reinforcement. You're doing it because you know in your heart and soul that this is what it's what you have to do. You can't not do it because it is coming from here.
It's the core, yes. And so purpose, action, the action follows in terms of momentum, because when you are changing habits or when you are developing new habits, there will always be blocks, there will always be challenges, and you need to have those mindset shifts. So what sort of challenges have you seen with yourself or with your clients, in terms of maintaining the momentum? So they take the initial action, they make a commitment, a conscious decision and commitment to do it. Maybe they will find someone to keep them accountable as well. But as they take their first few steps, okay, the motivation is there, they're doing it, they feel great, and it's all going on. But sooner or later, they will hit some blocks. So what do you do? How do you help your clients? Or in your case, I assume you didn't have a coach at that time. How did you manage these challenges, and what sort of challenges did you encounter?
Oh gosh. I would have to say probably, and at the time that I was experiencing them, it took me a little while to actually figure out what the underpinning cause was. And I can actually now see that when it happens to my clients as well, obviously, because I've experienced it. And there have been occasions where, I just kind of fall into a little bit of a slump. And, I know that I'm eating well. So, my lack of energy isn't because of food. And I go through all of the logical reasons why I shouldn't be feeling the way that I have been feeling. And, there's been a couple of times where I've just, fallen out of routine with the gym. And for somebody who now trains 5 days a week, for me not to go to the gym,
it's unusual.
There's something deeper going on. And the first time I realized what it was, when I tried to really dig deeper, what I came up with is my own sense of self-worth. Because I had, over such a period of time, I had, achieved so much with my weight loss. I'd achieved so much with my fitness. Life was wonderful. Things are going great with my business. Why am I feeling like this? And ultimately, when I kind of got to the bottom of it, was, those old stories that were coming up from a long time ago about my sense of self-worth. I'm not worthy of this blessed life. I'm not worthy of feeling this good. I'm not worthy of being in this amazing body that, moves so freely. I'm not worthy of, all of this beautiful, healthy food. Once I realized what the issue was, it was like, oh, okay, let's move on now.
That's hard to accept, actually. And did you realize it yourself, or did you have a prompt? Or because I don't know, maybe it could be our psychology background, but for some people, I'm not sure if that's something that would come naturally and think, oh, maybe I'm thinking this way. They might be feeling these insecurities, but they couldn't put their finger on it, if that makes any sense.
Possibly. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not even sure how I got to the bottom of it. It might have just popped to me in the shower when I was washing my hair one night. You know how the strangest things
these
kind
moments,
of come,
like,
when
is it? It just
and it's like, oh. And all of a sudden, once I realized what it was like, oh, okay, hang on a minute. That's not actually true. Of course I'm worthy of this. And, I could talk myself back around, and it's like, oh, okay. But I guess similarly, when I'm working with clients and I can see that pattern sort of starting to creep in, I can talk to them about, their previous experiences and how they felt throughout their previous experiences, and why they might have felt that particular way. And, is there any chance that those kinds of feelings, and I'm not going to tell them straight out, oh, you don't feel
You don't
worthy.
But I think
Although,
there's a lot of there's no shaming, there's no guilt tripping. It's just exploring.
Yeah.
So you can help them move forward. So
Absolutely.
identifying what it might be, just having that exploration. That's why I think having a coach, a life coach or a wellness coach, just to talk things through, because there are certain things that you feel you couldn't really understand by yourself what's going on, but just having that conversation and reflection, it actually helps for some people. And with the PAMI code as well, the E part is the energy part. Meditation, mindfulness, gratitude, these are practices that will help to uplift your energy. And if you cannot meditate, for example, because you're finding it difficult to be still, so you couldn't really have that clarity in your mind, that's actually when a coach can help, because just having that dialogue, having that conversation allows you to explore what's actually bothering you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now that you mentioned that, I mean, I had a client, it was only last week, and she's got a very, very, very stressful job. She runs her own company. She's, got quite a large number of staff. She covers a very large region in Australia. And she comes to me for personal training, but that particular session that she came to, or one of her sessions that she came to me last week, as soon as she came to the front door, I could just tell straight away that today was not the day for, heavy strength training or, full on cardio training. Today was a day that we just needed to chill. We just needed to do some nice relaxing stretches, and I needed to create that space for her just to process and talk through a lot of the stuff that she was experiencing. And by the end of that session, it actually went a little bit over, which doesn't worry me. When if you're in that flow and you're able to speak and actually articulate, rather than just all this spaghetti in your head, if you can actually articulate what is going on,
try to make sense of it,
process it. She emailed me later on, or messaged me later on that night, and she just said, thank you so much, because by going through that process, it actually allowed her to really create, I guess, rather than just having a confusing kind of work, life, everything all at once, she was actually able to, have neat little compartments and deal with everything on the level that needed to be dealt with, rather than just this big mashed up mess that she had been experiencing prior to just having some chill out time with me.
Yeah, that actually helps. So would you consider yourself a physical trainer, a dietitian? You consider yourself a health and wellness coach.
Health and wellness.
What's the difference between all these different I know certainly with nutritionists and dietitians, it's just with the diet and really specific about, what sort of food you have to eat. And for the physical trainer, they are like the gym people and teaching you how to lift your weights and stuff. But with a health and wellness coach, what is that?
It is, from my perspective, it's whatever my clients need me to be in that moment. I've got my double major in psychology. Through my own health transformation, I became a qualified personal trainer because of my interest in nutrition, which obviously supports my physical training, and also too with my little boy. When I was transitioning him from breastfeeding onto solids,
you wanted to,
because I was so mindful of the fact that he was born with a perfect body, and I didn't want to, contaminate that in any way. I wanted to give him the absolute best nutrition. So that really sparked my interest even further in nutrition.
So you're
So
wearing a lot of hats.
I'm
You have
wearing
the
a lot of
physical
hats.
trainer hat, you have the
Yes.
psychology hat, you have the
Yes.
nutrition. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So I did do formal studies in nutritional medicine as well. Now, I didn't become a qualified nutritionist because I thought that was probably going a little bit further than what my clients actually need from
It's
me.
highly specialized.
Yeah, it is. And I think for what my clients need, for me to be able to do a dietary analysis, I can do that. And, generally sticking to the basic nutritional guidelines. I don't need to get into prescribing specific diets for specific, medical
Health
conditions or anything
conditions.
like that. So, for me to actually get the qualification, the formal learning that I do have is enough for what I need in my particular role. So, basically everything from the physical training, the nutrition, getting the head right to support both of those. And I also, of course, eventually also got my certification in yoga instruction as well. So,
Wow.
that's
All
also nice.
around, yes.
I'm an all-rounder, absolutely. Yes.
So if with the members in our community, they're thinking about adopting new habits and or getting rid of old ones, what is the process? What would you suggest, step by step? What do they need to do to get started, to take action, to maintain the momentum and overcome the challenges so they can maintain it forever if they can? What would be the process? What does the process look like?
So I would typically start out with the most basic, simple things like your water, making sure, that for me, first and foremost, making sure that your body is well hydrated. Very good. So for you to still be doing this 12 months later, I think that is fabulous. So well done. There are just so many benefits that come along with being well hydrated. The next thing I would look at is, the fruits and veggies that you are having on a daily basis. I think in Australia, there's probably fewer than 40% of Australians are actually getting their minimum number of servings of their fresh
Is it
fruit.
5 portions a day in Australia
Yes,
as well?
yeah. So five portions of veggies, 2 servings of fruit. And I always like to try to get my clients to be conscious of the colors that they're putting on their plate as well. So it's not just getting the recommended servings per day, but it's also about making sure that there's a wide variety as well, so that you're getting the full range of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and those sorts of things. Obviously, you've also got other food groups like your, meats, seafoods, and alternatives and those sorts of things, dairy. So just, I prefer not to prescribe a diet as such and sort of say, here's your meal plan for the next week. I think having meal plans isn't really empowering people. And let's face it, you join some sort of fitness program online and it gives you the diet program, the meal plans.
It's rigid.
You only ever see, it's rigid. And let's face it, the majority of people only ever stay on it while they're doing the program anyway. I think it's far more important to actually teach people how to make the good choices and to actually embrace food and get to know food for what it is and what it can do for you, rather than remain disconnected from it. I think, when you're just eating food that is provided on a menu plan for you, there's still that level of disconnect. And I think, to actually get in there and touch it and feel it and,
it's part of
prepare it.
It's part of your routine. You make it part of your lifestyle rather than just handed over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think remaining, taking that control back, rather than outsourcing it to somebody else, really. So they're probably the big ones that I do from a nutrition perspective. From an exercise perspective, basically starting with the recommended guidelines to begin as a starting foundation. So trying to get 2.5 hours of moderate exercise per week. Now, for some people, they're not ready to launch straight into 2.5 hours of moderate exercise per week. So starting them off slowly, and that might be, a 10-minute walk 3 times a week. Sometimes only 2 times a week is enough, just to get them into
out,
that,
get them to
just to get them out, get them moving, and then progressively build on that. So increasing the amount of time. You might change it from 15 to 20 minutes up to 30 minutes. And then once you've kind of got that under control, then let's add in another day. When they come to me, I do a lot of resistance and strength work. But obviously, you still need a good level of cardiovascular fitness and muscular endurance before you can start building on strength. So, when I'm working with resistance programs, I always use big muscle groups first. So I'll always work the lower body, and then I'll work the upper body, and then I use then I'll work on the core, focus on the core. But all of this, when I work with my clients, I like to explain everything that we're doing, because I think that knowledge is power. And, when you understand why you're doing certain exercises, or when you understand why certain foods are good for you, when you can make that connection at that practical level, squats are good because, or planks
you
are
don't
good
just
because.
do something just because. You actually understand, again, the why.
Yes.
The specific why are you doing this? Because.
Yes, absolutely. And, when you have that knowledge, it enables you to then apply it well and truly beyond the time that you're working with me or somebody like me. And that's the whole kind of idea of it, is that you actually want to empower people so that they can maintain their health for the rest of their lives.
It's not just a fad. It's something that they carry on and for the rest of their lives. It really is empowerment, because you're not just spoon feeding them and actually just telling them what to do. You're actually educating them and empowering them to take back control and manage their own life, really.
Yeah. And in some instances, I might need clients to keep a food diary for me. Other clients are really good with their food. So really, when it comes to working with clients, I am what they need at the time. They might need more of a focus on exercise. They might need more of a focus on food. They might need more of a focus on actually working through some of the stuff up here. And, although I would never ever misrepresent myself as somebody who can counsel specific sorts of things, I mean, you go to your hairdresser and you tell your hairdresser everything about your life, and that's similar to me. And I think just being able to talk about stuff in a safe environment with your coach, whoever that might be,
someone
I think in itself, absolutely, and being able to sort of fit all the pieces of the jigsaw in together.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Cherie. So if people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
The best place to find me is actually my Facebook page. My business page is just Cherie Rivas Health and Wellness Coach. I also have Instagram. I think it's Cherie Rivas Wellness Coach on Instagram. So they're definitely the best ways. And I also have my website, which is www.cherierivas.com.
Awesome. So one final message to our members, if they're trying to adopt a healthy habit, what would you say in just a short nugget of inspirational boost from you?
Look, my big thing would be, don't wait until Monday. There is absolutely nothing magical about Monday. There is if you feel that now is the right time, don't wait. Actually do it now. You have the ability, you have the power, you have everything in you that you can start making really positive choices and really create some fabulous outcomes by starting now.
Yeah.
And it might just be starting with having your eight glasses of water a day. Start with that. You can make that change today. You don't need to wait until Monday.
Mm.
So yeah,
But
always
before
always
you
believe.
start it though, clarify your purpose. Always
Yeah,
start with your purpose, ground yourself with your purpose, and then take the action.
yeah,
Maintain the momentum and keep up the energy. And if you need support and accountability, we have our community, keep us posted with how you're getting on. Or if you want one-to-one support, you can also get a coach who can help you out. Cherie is here. If you need a health and wellness coach, if you need a mindset person, I could help you with your mindset as well. But if you need support and accountability, because let's face it, it would be easier to do it together if you have that support and accountability. You can do it alone if you want to, but it's not going to be as easy than when you have someone sharing the journey with you, keeping you on your, not really on your toes, but supporting you and guiding you through the process, because you might experience those challenges, those blocks, and when you have someone supporting you, you could explore it together and see what's really bothering you and how you can move forward. But anyway, thank you very much, Cherie. I hope that to all our members, think about it. What are the takeaway messages that you got from our conversation with Cherie today? Share it in the comments below. And if you do need any support or accountability, or let us know what you're planning to do in 2020, and what we can do to help you, so you can actually change that old habit or develop a new one, and what kind of support you need to help you to take it forward and maintain it for life. But again, Cherie, thank you very much, and everyone, thank you for tuning in today. And yeah, let's start a discussion in the comments below. So that's it. Bye from us for now.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Emee.
Bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.